3726.
Good morning. Yeah, we're ready to start.
Hey Liz, it's 9:30. We can get started.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Liz Kukla. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals, and I'm going to read the preamble for you this morning, this Monday, April 24th, 2023. In compliance with notification requirements of city's open meeting law in section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio in 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the City Planning Department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you, and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We'll also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Please note that calling users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We have provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak in a particular case via our website and email. All requests to speak on a particular matter have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comment on our particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Can you call the roll, please?
Sure thing. Ms. Brown will not be present this morning.
Correct.
Ms. Faith? Can we see her yet on here?
I did see her earlier.
All right. Ms. Holzer?
Present.
Ms. Roca, I'm sorry, Ms. Roca.
Present.
And Ms. Britt.
I was like, oh, do we get a new board member? Okay, present.
So Madam Chair, we have a quorum with 3 members this morning.
All right, thank you. I did see Miss Faith earlier. She might be having some technical issues, but in either case, we're minus 1 board member. So if you want to wait until you have a full complement of board members, you're allowed to ask for a postponement at the time we call your case. All right, any postponements or withdrawals today?
There are none.
All right. We can move with the first case.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Our first case is calendar number 23-057. This is at 4545 State Road. Keith Edwards Enterprises LLC proposes to erect a second-floor addition to painting contractor business in a C1 local retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. And who is doing the oath this morning?
Oh, I'll do it until maybe if we get Miss Faith on, we'll ask her to do it, but I'll do it now. So I'm swearing all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, say I do, state your name and your address.
I do. Charles Kaczynski, 4545 State Road, Cleveland, 44109.
Anyone else for this case on State Road?
Yes, Madam Chair, we do have a neighbor that is present. in the office today, and I'll have him sit down and swear in.
Put it on because I'm still hot, but I just don't want it.
And raise your right hand. Face the video, yes. You swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And give your address, please.
3402 Hillcrest Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44109, and my name is Gino Delano.
As soon as-
Okay, anyone else for this case?
That's what I need you to do.
Looks like Charles Kinnick has his hand up.
Yes, Kaczynski.
No, Charles Kennick from
Okay.
the Old Brooklyn CDC 4274 Pearl Road. I do.
Okay, anyone else for the state road case?
Did he hear me?
All right. Moving on. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The property was originally zoned general retail in 1929. In 1990, it was changed to local retail business. We were unable to find much in our records administration office for this address. We did find that there was a variance granted in calendar number 77-180. I'm sorry, this variance was denied to establish use as a repair garage, and that would be in 1977. There was a request by Richard Metz to establish a repair garage at the site. The information that we found in this resolution states that a permit was issued to erect a one-story sales and service building for lawnmowers. And that there was another permit later stating that the use for the building would be for saw sharpening. Yeah, I apologize, Madam Chair, it's a little spotty, but we do see that then in our cell system, the more recent history is in 2018, a violation notice was issued for exterior maintenance. Also in 2018, there was a permit requested to construct a storage building on site. There was a violation notice issued in 2019 for a storage of combustibles without a permit. Also in 2019, a violation notice was issued regarding exterior maintenance of a one-story garage. Later in 2019, in October of that year, a permit was issued to take corrective measures to bring the garage into compliance. And then in 2020, we see that a permit was issued to install new windows and to erect a non-illuminated sign. And I believe the rest is electrical permits, and that's all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting a use variance and area variances from the fence regulations of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property. Without the variance will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that the granting of the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. And let me grab something real quick on the on the area variance. Let me pull that. Apologies. On the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. All right, who's gonna be the spokesperson for this case?
I I assume it will be me. That's,
Who's speaking?
my name is Chuck Charles Kaczynski.
Okay,
I'm the tenant of the building.
okay, go ahead. Give us your case.
Well, what we like to establish with this whole process is we like to add another level to our building, the one where it has the Paint Medic sign, in order to grow our business, in order to have more office space and create more jobs and make the neighborhood beautiful. And the only way to do it is to put another level on top of the building, with with office space and a nice front view of a sign, of the signage.
Okay, so looking at the layout, so you're pretty much landlocked. Is that why you're going up?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's correct.
All right, and how many additional offices will be on the top floor that you're adding?
No, we're looking at creating 6 more offices, four of them in the front and 2 of them towards the back, including a conference room, a men's and a women's bathroom, and a couple closets, including the lobby.
Okay, thank you. Liz, is the neighbor still there?
Yes.
Yes, he sure is.
Okay, go ahead.
First of all, my mother is 100 years old. And with all the code violations from previous encounter with this company, my mother does not deserve to be disturbed with all the environmental hazards that the building will create. Furthermore, their property is only 6 inches away from our house. The building has only got 6 inches on the side of the property line. Second of all, if they create more jobs, they're going to create more of an environmental hazard to our the residents on 3402 Hillcrest Avenue. And second of all, they do not attempt to clean up their paint chips from their dumpster. They do not handle the materials properly. They don't even maintain their behind the building. They don't clean up nothing, no leaves and no weeds, no grass or nothing. And my mother's too old to handle all the hazards from building. And if they want to expand, they should go to a commercial industrial area and not a residential area. That's my opinion.
Okay, thank you. Does that conclude your testimony?
No, I have a letter from when they built the pole barn. They created such dust and there was no inspectors out there to check on the building while they were building. And they created a big dust storm because when they were cutting for the foundation of the pole barn, they did not use water. They used a leaf blower, and it was a west wind, and all the dust was blowing in our house. And this guy didn't even stop him. He was standing right there, and he didn't even say nothing to him. He don't care about us. He don't care about nobody but himself.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Kozinski, do you want to respond to anything the neighbor is talking about here?
Yes, I don't even know.
Particularly with your mitigation efforts.
Yes, I really, I'm kind of speechless. We had an inspector, Patrick Daly, there pretty much on a daily basis, which he oversaw the whole entire project. We do not have any trees or anything on our property, so any of the debris, leaves, or anything that's been spoken about is not coming from our place. We do not have any trees, any shrubs, or anything. around our whole entire inside of our whole entire property. So the only way leaves or anything could be getting into any of those areas are from our adjacent neighbors, which could be the gentleman that's speaking on the behalf of his mother behind us. And I really don't even know how to answer that one. You know, everything is spotless. The paint chips never get to that area because the dumpster is in front of the building. So I really don't even know how to how to answer something like that. The place is more than beautiful. It's more than clean. We take care of it pretty much on the daily basis, and take care of everything that's ours and is not ours, which we have no control over, such as leaves or anything else. But you guys are more than welcome to inspect the property, and you'll be able to tell that we do take care of everything more than anybody else in the neighborhood, it seems like.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Koenig?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Was able to meet with Mr. Kaczynski last week about the project, kind of walked me through his plans, his business, and how they're growing consistently and are needing more space. So one of the things I think that was not highlighted by Mr. Kaczynski in kind of explaining his project was that the existing office space that they now use is kind of like the front entrance of the storefront that they have now. So he was indicating to me that while they'll then be able to move their office space to the second floor, they'll be able to open up the front of their storefront to walk-in customers who are looking to use Paintmatics to going through the different services they have: aluminum siding, roofing, painting, all different types of services that are needed. Service not only to the neighborhood but to the rest of the city. Mr. Kaczynski's business was pretty spotless for a paint place, as I've seen. So looks like he takes really good care of his property, has a really big pride in his business. So CDC is fully in support of the project and is happy to see his business grow.
Great, thank you. Mr. Kaczynski, I forgot to ask, what are your hours of operation and days?
We operate between 7:30 until 5:30, 6 o'clock on a daily basis. Saturdays, it's somewhere between 8 and 12. We leave Sundays for rest.
So you're closed on Sundays, basically?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, thank you. City planning?
Hello, this is Xavier Bay, representing city planning. Yeah, you actually hit on one of the questions I was going to ask about, yeah, how much service is going to the local community for the sales. So that's good. I actually had one point on the barbed wire fence there. Is there any way that you can, I mean, eliminate the barbed wire from the fencing right there, seeing as how close it is to the parking and I guess the sidewalk?
Right. We have it inverted inwards. It's been there since we bought the place. The fence been there. I mean, if you guys wish, that's something that could be addressed. We were robbed 2 or 3 Decembers ago. I think it was December 17th. We got broken into and the place got robbed. We got a bunch of stuff taken, stolen, and we're trying to kind of make it. We're trying to deter the wrong type of crowd, is what I'm getting at. And if it's something that needs to be done, we will. But it's ever since then we haven't had any break-ins, so it's been kind of effective.
If I could ask, how tall is the fence right now?
What are you asking, Xavier?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Well, I think my audio is messing up here. I see Liz had raised her hand too.
You want Liz to go before your question?
Yeah, in case clarify anything.
Okay, go ahead, Liz.
Thanks, Madam Chair. The neighbor has a comment, if you would entertain.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
The barbed wire was not on the fence until they moved in. I watched them put the barbed wire on the fence and put a 10-foot fence around the place. And furthermore, as behind the dumpster, he's got automobile batteries, about 4 or 5 of them. And that's a health hazard. If the batteries crack and the acid leaks out, that's a health hazard.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Xavier, did you want to follow up on anything else?
No, I mean, honestly, the main concern I had with this was just the barbed wire fence right there along the sidewalk. If there is a possibility to take it down, possibly increase the height of the fence to kind of match that. I think that would be a more pleasant experience walking there on the street. But I mean, seeing as they're, providing more of the local community access to buying paints and supplies, I think we would recommend approval.
Okay, thank you. All right, board, any questions?
I have a question, Madam Chair.
ahead.
With respect to the fence, and this might be a question for Xavier, I just want to make sure I'm clear on this. Is it the whole fence that is not in compliance with the zoning code, or is it just the top of the fence that is not in compliance, the barbed wire?
It's the barbed wire in the local retail business district that's non-conforming.
So the whole fence,
The barbed wire,
The top part.
the top part.
correct.
So he could still have the rest of the fence there and take down the barbed wire without needing a zoning variance. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, because I mean, one of the variances that's come up here on the write-up is actually the barbed wire fence.
Right. Yeah, that's why I'm asking about it. Okay, that answers my question. Thank you.
Madam Chair, this is Liz.
Yes.
I'm not sure if that is true about there may be an issue with the height of the fence. It's a local retail business, and I think it may be a 6-foot tall fence. So it wouldn't be permitted by right. I'm not sure if Rick Riccardi is here.
It's not written up that way, though. It's only written up for the barbed wire part, not the height.
Okay, I see. I just for the record, I just wanted to have that stated that if there's no permit and there's an issue with the height, it may be an additional variance, or maybe, I'm sorry, I may actually be mistaken, and perhaps the 6-foot tall height would have been noted in the notice of nonconformance. So scratch that, Madam Chair. Thank you.
All right. Hey, Mr. Kozinski, are you open to removing the barbed wire, or do you want to leave it on here and see if we'll grant you a variance for it?
Ma'am, the fence itself was there when we purchased the property. And I'm to be honest with you, it's not something that we wanted to do. It's just more or less it was to deter the wrong type of people. We got broken into. We had like $8,000 or $9,000 worth of damage, stolen stuff, and do we really want it? It could go either way. It's not it's not ugly or anything like that. It just deters theft, and we put it on there just for that purpose and that purpose only. If it comes down to it, if you guys need us to, we will. We're just trying to keep this place, keep all the thieves away, more or less. There's no other reason to have it. So we're just trying to protect what we work so hard for, and make it a place where everybody could feel safe and and visit.
Madam
Okay,
Chair,
yes.
just one
Before I go-
follow-up too. I am caught up on this fence because I think the zoning code, there's a reason why we don't want barbed wire on a, pedestrian facing, sidewalk. So, that's why I'm kind of focused in on this. Do you have any other security measures that you utilize on your property that might deter that theft? I'm trying to determine here how necessary this is.
We do have security cameras. We do have security cameras, and we do utilize them on a daily basis. Like I said, we had those before, and even with the security cameras and the clear footage of license plates and all that stuff, we still had to, jump through hoops in order to catch the people that robbed us. Just because it wasn't on a high, it wasn't a rape or it wasn't a murder. So we're just trying to protect it. But I see where you guys are coming from. If it comes down to it, I mean, it's just a matter of cutting that stuff off from the top. We have it going inward, so it's not going into the sidewalks, it's going into our property. But ultimately, some of the stuff does make sense. If we need to remove it, we will, in order to be in compliance. And we'll just leave it the way it was before, without the barbed wire, and hope for the best. And yeah, security cameras only go so far. Those kind of things are more or less of a physical deterrent that works. But like I said again, whatever it is that we need to do in order to make things work, we will. You let us know.
Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Liz.
So I have a question. I'm not sure if the appellant stated this or not. It is just for the record, could he state whether or not there are, if there's painting going on, are they painting vehicles and items within the property?
No, we are a residential painting company. What we do is we keep all our equipment, our vehicles, as you see, in the property and the building. But then we leave in the morning, and we do not paint anything on the inside. We do exterior houses, fences, decks, where it's just impossible. What it is just what we're trying to create is we're trying to create an environment where we set up an office on the inside with a showroom where people could come and we could discuss the colors, the products that we have, but we do not bring them into the place. We disperse the workers to the residential and the commercial areas in order to do the work. So it's just strictly to maintain a showroom, and then ultimately to keep our vehicles.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for the appellant?
I do have one more question. I guess this would be from Xavier. I think we received a letter from the councilman. Did you happen to show that yet? And if not, I can read the email that we received.
I did not show it yet. I don't think I have it in the slide. If you could read it, that would help.
Okay. So Madam Chair, if it would be all right, I can go ahead and read that.
Is it a long letter? Or you just
No.
did the highlights? Okay, good.
I will give you the highlights. This is from the Councilman Harsh. He stated that he does not object to the second floor addition to expand the operations of Paint Medics. He wants to encourage and support successful businesses in Old Brooklyn. He's aware of concerns that residents have regarding the previous expansion efforts involving a garage and a potential dispute over the property lines, and that he hopes that they can come to a conclusion that is satisfactory to all parties and allows the business to grow at its current location without disturbing their neighbors. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anything else?
Madam Chair, just a couple questions. In the agenda, it notes that with regard to the fencing, the barbed wire, there was no permit
We're
previously
gonna,
issued.
Ms. Faith, we're gonna pause for 1 second and just for the record say that you have joined the meeting because you missed
Yes,
roll call.
thank you. Sorry, I was having
Okay,
some
all right, go ahead.
serious technical issues this morning, so I am present. And so anyway, uh, d- of note in the agenda is that there was no permit previously issued for the barbed wire on the fencing. So, um, to the appellant, I think our condition, or at least I would see it as our condition for approval would be the removal of that barbed wire, as it is, it was never permitted. I understand it's for security, but you have some other uh, contingencies in place for that. And it is not something that is typically allowed in that zoning district. And also for clarification, uh, it, it sounds like you're not selling product out of the business location, that you're using it just for a design center. Is that correct? Is no painting actually occurring on site of anything? And you're not selling paint products themselves out of the building, and that it is just a design center. So could the appellant respond to those questions, please?
Yes, ma'am, you're absolutely correct. What we do is we discuss colors, we discuss color schemes and other designs that customers desire to have done. We do not sell any paint in here. We do not do any painting here. So, with that being said, it's just strictly like a design center. They come, we go over color schemes. There are other products that we show samples of, but we do not sell anything out of the store at all.
And I'm sorry, could you reiterate your hours of operation for me, please?
We're generally from about 7:30 till about 5:30, 6 o'clock at the latest, from Monday to Friday. Saturdays we're looking at about 8 till noon. Sundays we do not work at all.
Great, thank you so much. That concludes my questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And for the record, this is a design center, everyone, so this has been belabored long enough, I think. So we can entertain a motion, please.
Madam Chair, we have heard testimony with regard to the hours of operation, the clarification that it is a design center. There's no painting going on premises. There's no paint products being sold. As a condition, we would ask the appellant to remove the barbed wire from the top of the fence. And with that being said, I move that we approve calendar number 2023-057.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please?
Madam Chair, I second.
Ms. Roca with the second. Go ahead, call the roll.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Britt.
Yes.
Calendar number 23-057 is granted conditionally, noting that the section 358.05B is not being included as being granted, as the board is requesting the removal of the barbed wire. The conditions are that this is a design center only and there will be no painting on premises. Madam Chair, do you want a new site plan showing the removal of the barbed wire, or do you just want us to have that in the resolution?
No, just have that in the resolution.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. So calendar number 23-057 is granted conditionally, and it'll be ratified next week, and we will send the appellant a letter.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Good luck with everything.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys.
All right, next case.
Our next case is calendar number 23-058. This is at 2923 East 125th Street. Shelda Brantley proposes to establish use as a residential facility for 8 occupants in a B12 family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances, as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. And Madam Chair, do you want to do the oath? Do you want me to do it? Do you want me to hand it over to Ms. Faith?
Yeah, Ms. Faith can handle it now since she's here.
Okay.
All right. All those present wishing to make testimony for this case 23-058, I'm going to read the oath. I will ask you to raise your right hand, and following the oath, you will reply, I do. You'll state your name and your address. So here we go. I do swear or affirm that the testimony I'm about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth. We cannot hear you if you are responding. We need your name and your address.
Shelda Brantley, 2923 East 125th Street, Cleveland, Ohio, 44120.
Thank you. Is there anyone else for this case? All right, back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. We discovered in the Records Administration Office that in 1928, a permit was issued to erect a two-story dwelling. There are no variances on file, and in the more recent history, we see that in 2018, a license fee for KindleCare, KYNDAL, was issued as in February of that year. And then there was a license inspection in 2022. And that's all that I have. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And what was the KindleCare again? What year was that?
2018.
Okay, thanks. Okay, legal standard, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting a use variance and an area variance from the minimum distance requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property such that there will be no economically feasible use to the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, the appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ms. Brantley, tell us what you'd like to do.
In 2018, I did operate that as a residential facility. It was named Close to Home in Kindle's Care. And at that time, I was allowed to have 5 residents there, and I'm requesting now to go from 5 to 8. It is a 4-bedroom house. There's 2 bedrooms up and there's 2 bedrooms down. And I would like to do that for seniors, to give them an opportunity not to go into a nursing home, but to be that bridge, that liaison between being at home and not going into a nursing home.
So you are currently running this as a residential facility, but you only have 5, correct?
Well, actually, I'm waiting to see if I will be approved for 8, because I have to contact the state to for them to make the decision on what I should do.
No, I understand that, but are you currently running one now, but just with the 5, or is this not running at all?
No, it's not running at all right now.
Okay.
But I have 4 other facilities, but yeah.
Okay, all right, so give us a little bit of what your day-to-day would be here and how many employees you would have and how you would conduct the business.
There will be there'll be 2 live-in staff. There'll be 4 people up, 4 people down. They will provide breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a snack. All the residents there will be taking their own medication. Meals will be cooked there. They will basically be able to come and go as they please. There's no restrictions. They would have to meet a certain level of care, and they would be able to like bathe themselves, toilet themselves. They don't require any other assistance.
Okay, and you said this would be senior citizens, correct?
Correct.
Are you having both sex or one?
Yes, it'll be
Okay.
both.
Okay. And for right now, the house is empty. There's no one in there.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Have you spoken to any of your adjacent neighbors or neighbors on the street or the council person about what you want to do?
I did email my council person and I also spoke to my neighbors. They remembered when there were people there and there was never an issue. So, uh, and they're the same neighbors that was there in 2018. So, nobody has come to me. I'm there all the time and nobody has ever come to me with any complaints.
So was 2018 the last year you were there?
Correct.
Okay. And you'd have not heard back from the council person?
No, I haven't.
Liz or Ms. Brantley, you might know too, did you have council approval for when you got approved in 2018?
No, because with the state, they'll allow you to have 5 and then, but if you need like an occupancy permit, is usually when other officials are called in because then I would have to get the variance in that. But 5 people, they'll allow you 5 people, so I didn't have to do that.
Okay. All right, city planning?
Um, so I know we do usually, hope to hear from the council person in the area, but seeing as they're unresponsive as of now. You mentioned you already have a history of hosting a residential facility at the same property in 2018, so that just kind of leads to believe that it's been successful. I guess the only concern I had was the amount of space for about 8 people and in these like smaller bedrooms on the plan. I get that's like the main concern that I kind of had. And so the 2 staff that you mentioned, are they going to be staying there overnight as well, or I don't think I heard that part.
They may be staying overnight as needed. It really depends on the level of care of the residents.
Okay, well, it's kind of interesting scenario. I get there is already I believe 2 one residential facility in the 1,000-foot buffer. So there is some clustering going on just in this area. Being oversaturated is the main concern. It's having too many of these residential facilities in the same area, giving like a really institutional feel to the neighborhood. So I mean, I
I'm
would
familiar-
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I'm familiar with her. She has an apartment building. I kind of like the home feel. I like them to feel like they're at home versus an institution, a building, a nursing home type of situation. I kind of want to be that bridge in between a nursing home and being at home. And that's why my facility is called close to home so that they can feel like they're at home.
But yeah, I would say given the amount of space is my main concern, so I would actually recommend denial for this, mainly because it is in the 1,000-foot buffer zone, and this space seems very limited, especially if 2 people in addition are going to be staying overnight. I would really recommend a new site or just keeping the same amount of people as before.
Well, the staff that'll be there overnight, there'll be like a let out couch. They won't have a bedroom. They won't like particularly live there. They'll just be there in case of an emergency during the night. So they won't physically live at the property. And the beds there, the rooms are fairly nice size, but they're going to be twin beds. So I've already measured everything. And there has to be 3 feet in between the beds. So I've already made sure that that's possible before I submitted my, my plans. So the space is there.
Yeah, I think
So,
for me, it would really help to see that on the plan. I think that they probably would
okay.
give a lot of clarification.
So what should I do at this point?
You
Madam,
just have to wait till there's further discussion. So Xavier, are
okay.
is city planning still in the position of denial?
Yes.
Okay. All right, I'll open up to the board now for any questions or comments.
Madam Chair, I was going to ask if we could have the floor plan blown up a little bit more
Yep.
so I could read the dimensions on the bedrooms, please.
This is pretty blurry, in fact, there.
Yeah, really hard to read. The dimensions kind of fade out.
Yeah, I could see a 10 in the first number. I'm not sure what the second measurement is. This looks like 9 by 10.
So, ma'am, is your plan to have 2 twin beds in each bedroom?
Correct. 2 twin
Okay.
beds.
Madam Chair, given the fact that the room dimensions are very hard to read on this, I think that I would have to agree with Xavier from City Planning with regard to seeing space planning included. I'm sure that there's adequate space and it meets the requirements for distance between beds. It looks like there's a stairway to that bedroom number 2. So there's 2 doorways that are in play in that room, which might limit the ability to fit furniture in there. And we also don't have a statement from a situation where a group home falls within the boundaries of another one that already exists.
So Ms. Brentley, when you reached out to the council person, you just didn't get a response yet? Is that
No.
what happened? Okay. I'm more comfortable with the postponement due to that issue to make sure that you have approval and or not approval from the council person versus the space planning issue. Because I believe the state comes and inspects these houses to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do on that matter. But just to give you time to hear back from the council person, we're gonna postpone this. Particularly because you are in violation of the 1,000-foot rule, because normally that just means no right away. So try to give you time to try to ease that out and figure out, to get the council person on your side. So we're gonna postpone for 30 days. Liz, can you give me a date?
Madam Chair, due to the end of May being, May being a short month because of those
Yeah.
last 2 weeks.
Mhm.
June 5th is the first date and that we could get her back on.
Okay, we'll put her on. So Ms. Brantley, we'll put you on June 5th, and I'll give you enough time to get everything in order and get back to the council person and talk to them about what you want to do there since you're in violation of the 1,000-foot rule.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, could we also ask for a drawing that has the dimensions on those bedrooms?
Yes, and if you do resubmit, show where the beds are going to be in each room.
Okay.
All right, thank you. We'll see you June 5th.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay, next case.
All right, our next case is calendar number 23-060. This is at 2169 Columbus Road. Eric Kennedy proposes to erect a 550 square foot addition to an existing residence and change the use to restaurant in a G2 limited retail business district and an urban farm overlay. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Faith for the oath.
Thank you, Ms. Holzer. For those present for calendar number 23-060, I'm going to read the oath. I'll ask you to raise your right hand. At the conclusion, you will reply, I do, state your name and your address. So, I do swear or affirm that the testimony I'm about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
I do.
I do.
We need one person at a time, gentlemen. So, Mr. Kennedy, would you like to go first?
Yes, Eric Kennedy, 2043 Random Road, Cleveland, Ohio, 44106.
Next.
Justin Davies, Paskovich and Associates Architects, 1708 Euclid Ave, Cleveland, Ohio, 44115.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I do, Donna Gregonis, 2406 with Tremont, or 2406 Professor Avenue with Tremont. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that should be everyone then. So back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It was originally zoned general retail in 1929. In 2006, it was changed to the local retail business district. In our records administration office, we found that in 1913, a permit was issued to erect a two-story store building. And 1917, a permit was issued to erect a garage. 1927, a permit was issued for alterations for a dwelling addition. And then, Madam Chair, in the more recent history, we see that in 2005, a permit was issued to establish use as a beauty salon, mixed use building, I'm sorry. But then in 2013, there were permits issued to board up windows and doors. And then in 2015, a permit was issued to make interior alterations to rehab the property. And I'm not sure if I stated it, but there are no variances on file. Thank you.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant requesting an area variance from the parking requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by their land or building in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Okay, who's going to be the spokesperson?
Would you like me to speak, Eric?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes.
Madam Chair, this is Richard.
Mr. Riccardi?
Yes. It should be stated before we start the case that there was an amendment to the notice of nonconformance. The 65% standard for parking in an urban form district is for a new building. For an existing building, the standard is only 25%. And so it reduces the amount of parking that is required from 15 to 6. So it should be stated that the amount of the parking spaces required are 6 and not 15. Just want to state that before we start the testimony. Thank you.
Yeah, that was important. Thank you, Mr. Riccardi. Okay, was that Mr. Davies that was going to speak?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So the proposal for the project is to maintain the existing home on the property. Due to the size of the lot and the width, it is preventative for providing really any parking on the site. There really just isn't enough room. The proposal is to add an addition off of the back and provide a restaurant space that is going to be used for breakfast and lunch. And we believe that, given the parking spaces along Columbus Road, and the walkable proximity of the neighborhood is really intended to, use the space for as a nice addition to the neighborhood for breakfast and lunch. And we believe, it's very close proximity, walkability to the neighborhood as well as the train as well.
Okay, and what would the hours of operation on this restaurant be? You said breakfast and lunch, but like what specific hours?
Yeah, approximately 8 a.m. to 2. And that could vary a half hour either way. I think probably depending if they developed, a business where people like stopping by for coffee, it could open a little bit earlier, but approximately 8 to 2.
And that will be on which days? Every day?
Yeah, there would probably be one day a week where they wouldn't operate. Currently, if we get the approval here, I'll move to the next phase, and that would be trying to put together a release with a lease with the folks that are interested in opening. But these are folks that are currently operators. They have families. I think they like time off. My guess is that we probably wouldn't operate on Mondays.
Okay. Okay. All right, Ms. Grigonis.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. This is Donna Grigonis, Director of Economic Development for Tremont West Development Corporation. So Eric did come before the Community and Economic Development Committee without knowing what the variances would be initially. But we did find out what the variances would be earlier this past month. And normally we would probably ask for a delay in something like this because parking, as you're aware, in Tremont is a very sticky topic. But given that this is in the pedestrian mutual overlay, it's on Columbus Road, and there's a lot of transit options. And given the time that they are slated to be open from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.-ish, really parking is not an issue until around 4 o'clock in this neighborhood. So the neighborhood is wildly excited about this and really appreciate them coming to the committee early and communicating with everyone often. So I would say that everyone's really excited from the community that we spoke with. It was more than 26 people were in support of this that are immediate neighbors. And the only real concerns were parking, but again, given the time that they are slated to be open, it should not be an issue. The one consideration they did ask is if for some reason you will be having a special event, that you maybe talk to the church nearby to arrange parking with them, but I can connect you with them if needed in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, city planning.
This is Xavier Bay, representing city planning. Yeah, I think these are very minimal. This is very minimal variance, and like Ms. Grigonis mentioned, there's tons of bus lines and the rail line, actually, the red line, really close to this area. This is like a kind of like a prime example of transit-oriented development. So yeah, we have no further issues, and I recommend approval.
Thank you. Okay, board, any questions or comments?
Hearing none, Madam Chair, I'll go to a motion.
Go ahead.
All right. We've heard testimony from the appellant, his architect, and Ms. Grigonis. Thanks for chiming in. We appreciate the fact that they have been to the community development meetings, and we appreciate the fact that their hours are going to be such that they're not going to be in competition for street parking. For this, we didn't have concrete hours or days of operation from the appellant. So just to sort of be as inclusive and possible as possible, I'm going to say that our hours are 7:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., 7 days a week. That gives them an option to open later if they need, or close for a day if they need. And Mr. McCarty testified that the parking requirements are reduced to only 6 spaces since it's an existing building, which was valuable information with regard to this variance. And so with all that being said, I move that we go ahead and approve calendar number 23-060.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please?
Board Member Roca seconds.
Ms. Roca with the second. Go ahead, call the roll.
Ms. Olzer,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Britt.
Yes.
Calendar number 23-060 is granted. It'll be ratified next week, and we will send the appellants a letter.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your time.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Look
Good
forward
luck.
to seeing this open.
Us too.
Thank you.
Okay, next case.
Our next case, and I believe our final case of the day, is calendar number 23-061. This is at 3272 Fulton Road. Cleveland Investment Corp. owner proposes to change the use of an existing mixed-use building, parenthetically apartments and a store, to a 3-family residence. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there is one. With that, I will hand it over to Ms. Faith for the oath.
All right, for those making testimony on calendar number 23-061, I am going to read the oath. You will raise your right hand when at the conclusion you will state your name and reply, I do. You reply, I do, then state your name and your address. So here we go. I do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I'm about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do. Nick Berardi, Cleveland Investment Corp. My address is 3260 West 121, Cleveland, Ohio, 44111.
Okay, next.
John Rakowskis, architect, 4352 Pearl Road, Cleveland, Ohio.
Great. Is that everyone for you then? All right, Madam Chair.
Thank you. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This property was originally zoned general retail, and in 2006, it was changed to local retail business. In our records administration office, we found that a permit was issued to erect a store in 2018. In 2029, a permit was issued to erect an addition. There are no variances on file, and in the more recent history, we find that there were interior alterations to rehab the property. And I believe that's all that we have that's relevant. Thank you.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant requesting an area variance from the maximum gross floor area limitation of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or building in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, who's going to be the spokesperson?
I guess I could. My name is Nick Berardi, or Nicola Berardi. So we purchased the building in December of 2021. I was under the assumption that it was already approved for it to be a 3-family because some of the work was done inside. And then when we went to pull permits, we found out that we needed to go through this process. So that's where we sit. Basically, I think they, the problem was that there was not enough we have more building than we have lot, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So can you just talk about the layout on the inside, like what the units, or you, okay,
Yeah,
here
so
we go.
it originally had 2 apartments up, and downstairs was a storefront in the front, and just a big space in the back. The structure upstairs pretty much are going to stay the way they were. Everything's going to stay the way it was. We just need to put it back together as a 3-family. So you have 2 bedrooms. The front unit is a 2-bedroom. The back unit is proposed to be a 2-bedroom, and downstairs is a 1-bedroom unit.
Okay, and you have ways to enter and exit the building for every floor?
Correct.
Okay. All right, Mr. Rackauckus, did you want to add anything?
Only that regarding the adjudication items, everything that's there that is existing. I mean, we're talking about supposedly proposing, but all these area requirements, you know, are, I think, not applicable because this is an existing facility, and so we have satisfied the parking requirements for this change of use. That wasn't an issue, and I just think that the fact that it's an existing building in an existing lot kind of makes the consideration of granting it, I think, obvious, but that's not my decision.
Okay, city planning.
Xavier Bay, city planning. Liz, did you want to add anything else there? Should I just go ahead? I just saw your hand go up. So
Madam Chair, if I could speak, Madam Chair, if that's okay.
Yes.
We did receive an email from Metro West. I'm not sure if Xavier has it as part of the slideshow. We did receive it on Thursday. So if I can go ahead and read it.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so this is from Stephen Holowicki. It states that Metro West CDC is the community development corporation that services housing and real estate related issues for Clark Fulton. In reference to the case, MWCDO does not support this change of use for the following reasons. Number one, it does not conform to existing zoning and land use for mixed use development along a main commercial corridor. Number two, the subject property was designed for first floor commercial use and not residential. Number three, it conflicts with the neighborhood master plan. And then it goes on to say F4-C1, support physical spaces for small business and entrepreneurs. And F5B1, which I'm not sure what these numbers are, but provide facade, basic building improvements, and grants. Again, this is Stephen Holowicki, Director of Housing and Real Estate for Metro West Community Development Organization. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead, city planning.
Oh, okay, so yep, as I mentioned, Xavier Bay, representing city planning. Yeah, so I guess one of the questions I had for this one was this front labeled owners area, is this eventually going to be like a utilized storefront, or is there any, I guess I'm curious about the future of the space here.
So that is the back of the building. It's not the front of the building.
I see.
And that's just like a garage area almost. Has an overhead garage door to it. So we have different units, and we have quite a few properties in the neighborhood that we maintain. So we'd probably be using that to do a little bit of we don't even know what we're gonna use that space for. It's just there.
Okay. Yeah, just seeing as we're trying to utilize more of these the structures very similar to this, a lot of retail buildings are kind of trying to see how they could be reutilized. A lot of vacancy is what I was trying to say. Yeah, so we have no problem recommending approval for this through their area variances.
Thank you. Okay, board, questions or comments?
Madam Chair, to the appellants, have you met with the CDC with regard to your planned use for the building?
Actually, I apologize, I have not. I was kind of surprised I didn't do that myself. I talked to them about other properties and I didn't even think about this one with them. Because I thought it was just a slam dunk. It's a building that's been sitting there. It was already I'm pretty sure, at least to my knowledge, I thought it had already gone through the process. The first floor apartment was already framed in as a 1-bedroom apartment. The wiring was actually installed in there. It was already cut out by the scrappers, but it was installed at one time. So I thought it was just kind of like a done deal. So I didn't even think about talking to him about this property. I did tell him I purchased it, but I didn't tell him what I was doing with it.
Okay.
At one time, and that might have been like probably 6-8 months ago. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So so clearly then no discussion of as its inclusion in the master plan for that area. So,
yeah, I don't even know what the
and no
master plan
community
is.
meetings.
Excuse me if I could jump in there. I see Brittany Pabon with her hand up. She's actually the new Near West neighbor area planner that we just recently hired, so she could probably chime in.
That's excellent.
She needs to be sworn in.
All right, Brittany, I'm going to
Yes.
read the oath for you, and you need to raise your right hand. Following the oath, you will reply, I do, state your name and your address, and you may use the City Hall address for that. So if you'll raise your right hand, Brittany, I do swear or affirm that the testimony I'm about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do. My name is Brittany Pabon, at City Hall at 601 Lakeside Ave, as a Near West Side planner. So I did look into this property a little bit, and it looks like it was before, somewhere in 2016, it was vacant, and the business kind of didn't even keep it up to date. It's kind of nice to know that they're reutilizing buildings in these ways, that they're maintaining it, and a zoning code could just be switched back, if anything. So the consideration of making it into a living space, I think benefits the community. Just keep density and also just keep to maintain the property as well.
All right, thank you, Brittany, and welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, board?
We just, Madam Chair, this is actually for whoever is in control of the PowerPoint. Can we just flip back to the plan of the whole building on the site? I just wanted to, yep, I just want to see where the tenants will move in and out of the space. I'm assuming they park in the back.
So there's an alley right in the back, right behind the building.
Okay, gotcha.
So the back of the building, there's an alley that they could come in from. And then there's space where you could walk up the side. As far as pedestrian wise, the first floor apartment would have entrance from the front door and from a side door, like right around there. And then the upstairs apartments would go up through the side.
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions, board? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
All right, hearing none, Madam Chair, we've heard testimony from our new city planner that was insightful. And so welcome to her. And I think that the statement that this does increase the density for the neighborhood and also is an improvement in terms of the upkeep of the property. The appellants just told us that there's an alley in the back to access the parking. So, and that then the pedestrian ease of entrance into the building is on this side, and the front would be, the front entrance would be utilized for the downstairs. So I think that enhances the overall appearance of the property. And so with that, I move that we go ahead and approve calendar number 23-061.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please?
Madam Chair, Board Member Roca seconds.
Ms. Roca with the second. Go ahead, call the roll.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Roca,
Yes.
Ms. Bay,
Yes.
Ms. Britt.
Yes.
Calendar number 23-061 is granted. It'll be ratified next week when we meet again, and then we will send the appellant a letter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck with your project.
Thank you. All right, old business. Do we have it up? There we go. Okay, 1 through 3 and number 9 without objection, board.
Without objection.
Without objection.
Without objection to 3 and 9.
And what's going on with affirmations, Liz?
Madam Chair, for BZA 22-144, this was on Columbus at 1720 through 1736. Columbus Go Life Columbus was granted variances to establish use as 45 apartments with retail. And that was in October of last year. They're requesting more time because they need to complete the full architectural drawings and go through the approvals for that.
Yeah, I'm inclined to approve that because they came before the expiration time. So without objection, board, we'll grant the affirmation.
Right, without objection.
Without objection.
Great. What's
And,
the other one?
As with the that one, this one also has it needs more time to complete those architectural drawings, and this again is calendar number 22-147, 2429 Superior Avenue. This is regarding Bridgeworks request to to erect a 15-story tower with 140 residential apartments and retail. So they are working through the process as well with those architectural drawings. Sorry, I didn't add the date of the ratification, but yeah, I think it was in November. I apologize.
Oh,
I
no
can
problem.
confirm that they were within the time.
Okay, as long as they're not expired, we're good. Okay, without objection, board.
Without objection.
Objection.
All right, great. Believe that's it. Can I have a motion for adjournment, please?
Madam Chair, I motion that we adjourned.
So moved. Thank you. Everyone have a good week.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Xavier,
Oh, yes.
quick question. Is Brittany replacing someone?
Yeah, actually, Matt Moss. Yep.
And where did Matt go?
He's still on the team. He just got a pretty much a bit different position.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, just curious.
Yep. He's still here. He's still a part of city.
Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to know if we lost somebody or not.
Oh no, so far we're we're okay.
We're good?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
All right,
Have
Jeff.
a good one.
Good to